Chapter 4, Segment 1, What and Where Pathways. Extrastriate cortex is the region of the cortex bordering the primary visual cortex and containing multiple areas involved in visual processing. This is beyond the V1 cortex. Receptive fields begin to show an interest in properties that will be important for object recognition. V2 cells care about boundary ownership. For the extrastriate regions of the occipital lobe of the brain, visual information moves along two main pathways. The where pathway heads up to the parietal lobe, processes information relating to the location of objects in space and the actions required to interact with them, for example, moving your hands and eyes. It is also important in the deployment of attention. The what pathway heads down to the temporal lobe. It is where explicit acts of object recognition takes place. Receptive fields get bigger in the temporal lobe. A lesion is a region of damaged brain. Kluver and Busey destroyed monkey brains to see if there was a relationship between the temporal lobe and object recognition. Monkeys behaved as though they could see but did not know what they were seeing. Agnosia is failure to recognize objects in spite of the ability to see them, due to brain damage. Kluver and Busey called this psychic blindness. Inferotemporal, or IT cortex. Part of the cerebral cortex in the lower portion of the temporal lobe. It is important in object recognition. Charlie Gross recorded the activity of single cells in this area. Cells in the IT cortex had receptive fields that could cover an entire field of view. The grandmother cell, coined by Jerry Letvin, is any cell that seems to be selectively responsive to one specific object. It has connections with the hippocampus, which is involved in memory information. It is important because IT cells need to learn their receptive field properties. Homologous regions are brain regions that appear to have the same function in different species. Quiroga did a study where certain cells in epilepsy patients responded to certain images, like, for example, a photo of Jennifer Aniston or the Sydney Opera House. There are specific agnosias in specific patients. Feed-forward process, a process that carries out a computation, for example, object recognition, one neural step after another, without need for feedback from a later stage to an earlier stage. The problems of perceiving and recognizing objects. Cells in the striate cortex will respond to high contrast lines. Simple cells only look at horizontal, vertical, and oblique lines. Mid-level vision. A loosely defined stage of visual processing that comes after basic features have been extracted from the image. Low-level or early vision, and before object recognition and scene understanding. High-level vision.